On India Decides at 9, the big news stories of the day from India and around the world.
Make it more profitable
On
for companies
business,
to create jobs
fighting recession.
here in the United States.
And the NDTV Election Express on the bus stop with Sunetra Chaudhary.
Hello and welcome. You're watching India Decides at 9. I'm Vikram Chandra. On the show today, we're going to be taking a look at Rajasthan and Delhi to see what's going to happen day after if all voters vote exactly as they did in the assembly election, and that wasn't that far back. But before we do any of that, let's also quickly run through some of the major headlines at this moment. Rahul Gandhi reaches out to the left and to Nitish Kumar, gets a fairly lukewarm response.
I'm confident that the left will support Manmohan Singh ji government. Mr. Nitish, for example. I think the intention is there.
As we head for the political endgame, Mayawati asks, why can't a Dalit's daughter become the Prime Minister?
कांग्रेस पार्टी में लल्लू पट्टू के प्रधानमंत्री बन सकते हैं, बीजेपी में लल्लू पट्टू बन सकते हैं, तो बहुजन समाज पार्टी में एक पढ़ी लिखी लड़की इस देश की प्रधानमंत्री क्यों नहीं बन सकती है?
No tax breaks for sending jobs to Bangalore instead of Buffalo, says Obama. Don't panic, says Indian industry.
It's a tax code that says you should pay lower taxes if you create a job in Bangalore, India, than if you create one in Buffalo, New York.
Tension mounts in Nepal. The Maoists are clearly trying to paint India as the villain. An Air India plane is damaged as it moves while still attached to the aero bridge. And Darren Kapoor's baseball action as he throws the first pitch in a Dodgers game. Well, it was Rahul Gandhi's day in the sun in New Delhi, where at his first big press conference in the capital, he made overtures both to the left and to some NDA allies like Nitish Kumar. Those overtures were rejected later in the day, but clearly post-poll jockeying for power has already begun in earnest.
प्रधानमंत्री जी मनमोहन सिंह जी बनेंगे.
A confident Rahul Gandhi setting the rules of the game for his party and changing some along the way. So at his first major press conference in the capital, Gandhi laid out the battle plan, part of which seemed to be to make peace with the left, whom he had just recently described as an old party with old ideas.
There is a lot of meeting ground with us and the left. With the left, there is a reasonable amount of common space. I'm confident that the left would rather have a Congress Prime Minister.
Then some unexpected praise for Nitish Kumar, whose JDU is likely to do very well in Bihar.
There are leaders who are in the opposition who do. Mr. Nitish, for example. I think the intention is there.
Yeah, you have promised. Sir, can I ask now? Mr. Gandhi, can I ask now? Can I ask now?
You like that, huh?
And he didn't even rule out tying up with Jayalalitha.
Election के बाद all options are open.
A pragmatic approach, but quoting allies both old and new isn't going to be that simple. Nitish thanked him for the compliment, but that was all.
बहुत उनको धन्यवाद.
नहीं, धन्यवाद मतलब
जो काम यहाँ पर हो रहा है वो सबको दिखाई पड़ रहा है.
विकासपुर के सिवा कोई कुछ नहीं है.
सबको दिखाई पड़ रहा है जो काम हो रहा है.
कांग्रेस पार्टी
नहीं वो सबको तो कल ही बात करें.
And the left call his confidence misplaced.
Our objective in this election is to achieve a combination which will be non-Congress, non-BJP, a secular alternative which can form the government after the elections. All these issues of who will combine with whom, what will happen, how these alignment will happen, all these are issues that can only fructify post-elections.
The ground rules have been set by Rahul Gandhi that the Congress will not be a silent bystander and there's no question of supporting any government from the outside. In New Delhi, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
Now, the kudos to Nitish Kumar from Rahul Gandhi didn't make his former allies in Bihar too happy. Both Lalu Yadav and Ramvilas Paswan quick to come out with rebuttals.
क्या बोले नहीं बोले हमको कमेंट नहीं करना चाहते, लेकिन जरूर आदमी कुछ न कुछ बतियाता होगा आदमी क्या करते नहीं करते। नीतीश कुमार कोई अच्छा काम नहीं कर रहे। अरे छोड़ो यार, ना कांग्रेस हमारे पार्टी में है ना हम कांग्रेस पार्टी में हैं।
राहुल गांधी ने नीतीश कुमार जी से कहा था राहुल जी बतलाएंगे, नीतीश जी बतलाएंगे क्यों तारीफ कर रहे हैं। तो नीतीश कुमार जी बहुत अच्छे काम कर रहे हैं, तो फिर उनके खिलाफ में कैंडिडेट काहे के लिए दिए हैं।
And for all of that jockeying of power, that's obviously already begun in earnest. We're now being joined by Abhishek Manu Singhvi from the Congress Party, Prakash Javadekar as well joining us from the BJP. Abhishek, let me start with you first. What are the essential messages that Rahul Gandhi was sending out today? Reaching out to everyone, has the Congress more or less made up its mind, look, we're not going to be able to form a government or on our own, we're not very sure about our old allies, try and poach Nitish from the NDA, make overtures to the left. What exactly was the strategy today?
Two things, Vikram, and we have to understand those two before you decode the message as you say. One is Rahul Gandhi's style of politics, his definition of politics, the way he speaks, the way he thinks. He normally means what he says and says what he means. He doesn't avoid, he doesn't double talk, he doesn't do hate speech. So he has a refreshingly new approach to politics. He's not cast in the old traditional mold. He doesn't believe in throwing his weight around. He's polite, he's self-effacing, he's self-critical, and therefore as a part of that overall persona.
We'll get into Rahul Gandhi and how great he is in a minute or two, but can I just ask you the message he's sending?
1 minute. I'm not great. I'm answering your question, decoding that message. He's always been very frank and candid in his statements, and you saw an example today. He appreciated the conduct in terms of deeds or action of two people, and that's about it. Secondly, yes, all possibilities are open after the elections so long as the basic fault line and watershed of Indian politics remains, which is that the Congress and BJP will have no truck, the Congress and Shiv Sena will have no truck. Everything else is possible subject to the figures showing an appropriate combination.
Okay, everything else is possible. Prakash Javadekar, has the BJP already started to talk to all sorts of people to try and see how you can maybe get back some of the 22 allies you once used to have some years back and obviously don't anymore? And are you also concerned that Nitish, whatever he says right now, will actually go across to the UP if the numbers stack up for them?
Really, I can sympathize for Congress and my friend Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Just he did not say one word that Rahul is God, because that is what Congress can say, because it is one family party. Without that family there is no party. But that is their problem. What I fail to understand is that you people in media also, because people are not excited about what he says, because such overtures don't make anything. See, politics is played on ground reality. We have 55 MLAs and Nitish has 88 MLAs. We are both ruling there, 8:5. So that means politics doesn't change. So if somebody makes a statement from press conference and Nitish ji has said, every day he is saying that our aim is to make Advaniji Prime Minister.
Right, that's
nowhere Congress is not at all. What Rahul says essentially is that he is admitting that now there is no hope for Congress.
Well, okay,
so Congress wants to take as many as create confusion. But as Lalu and Ramvilas, their old trusted lies. What is the message you are asking?
Okay,
the message is that Rahul and Congress can betray their allies anytime.
But actually they're not their allies right now. But Prakash, Abhishek, just stay on with us. We were discussing Rahul a short while back. Let's just get into that in slightly greater detail. Because obviously Rahul is increasingly starting to sound like the man who's really calling the political shots in the Congress. And some are saying that all of this is the coming of age of Rahul. Let's take a look.
Friendly, relaxed and extremely confident, a very different Rahul Gandhi emerged as he fielded questions from the national media today, ranging from his famous last name to Kotroki and his relationship with the Gandhi family.
My position gives me certain advantages to be able to do things like the Punjab election, to be able to force that process. Just because I am the outcome of a system doesn't mean I can't change that system or try to change that system. Embarrassment dead issue है, इसको हर बार उठाते जाते हैं हर बार. खत्म issue है, finished है, कोई interest नहीं है इसमें. I have people, 300-400 people who would be very insulted actually by what you said. No, because I'm telling you, no, I'm just telling you, let me say, they'll be very insulted because they work day and night. They get beaten up. They get pushed around. They get pushed by the police in Gujarat to do this. And this is not a small thing that they're doing, and I'm very proud of them.
Today's press conference is clearly a part of a well-planned election strategy to position Rahul Gandhi as a key decision maker. A sign analysts say is a signal of the shift in balance of power from mother to son. He is the one increasingly taking key decisions, whether it is to stand up to key ally Lalu in Bihar or not to give in to UP strongman Mulayam Singh Yadav, or to push forward young unknown candidates in Punjab, Gujarat and Karnataka. The opposition, however, criticized the sweeping statements made by Rahul Gandhi. For instance, this reference to terrorism, and point to the fact that in states like UP and Gujarat, his brand of Gandhigiri hasn't worked.
If we empower those people in the villages, we can sit back, relax, and they will destroy terrorism in 15 minutes.
You have local modules in India which are now cooperating with these terrorist modules from outside. And just by empowering Indian villagers, you are going to fight terror. I think, and finish it off in 15 days. I think this is just fanciful thinking. It can't really be serious.
For the BJP and the left, the emergence of Rahul Gandhi in the 2009 elections is something to worry about. While the attacks have focused on his political immaturity, be it in Gujarat or West Bengal, the fact that he appeals to a young electorate means that none of them are ruling him out as a very serious political adversary. An NDTV Bureau Report.
So today's face-off very clearly, Rahul Gandhi versus Arun Jaitley.
एनडीए एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है, खत्म हो गया है और पूरे देश में खत्म हो गया है. जनरल सेंस दैट वी आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम एनडीए पार्टनर्स इज दैट दे आर लुकिंग फॉर द एनडीए. इट डजंट एग्जिस्ट. It exists in the mind of the BJP.
The Congress party is hallucinating.
Okay, but perhaps the quote of the day, before I come back to Abhishek Singhvi and Prakash Javadekar, the quote of the day perhaps from Mayawati, she made it clear that her hat is in the ring for the prime ministerial spot.
श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जगह जगह कह रही है, आज हर आदमी कह रहा है मुझे देश का प्रधानमंत्री बनना है. अरे काय को तकलीफ हो रही है, काय को तकलीफ हो रही है. तो जब कांग्रेस पार्टी में लल्लू पप्पू के प्रधानमंत्री बन सकते हैं, बीजेपी में लल्लू पप्पू बन सकते हैं, तो बहुजन समाज पार्टी ने एक बड़ी नीति लगी, इस देश की प्रधानमंत्री क्यों नहीं बन सकती है.
Okay, now I've got to get reaction to that, both from Abhishek Singhvi and from Prakash Javadekar. Abhishek, you first, you were talking about Rahul Gandhi, and now's your chance perhaps to tell us what difference you think he's actually making to the party. First of all, we were asking whether he's now calling the shots. Is that what's happening? Is he the person who's now taking all the major decisions in the Congress party?
Vikram, just first in answer to Prakash Javadekar's comment earlier, I can understand and sympathize with the stereotyped thinking of the BJP. The BJP cannot rise above the fact that in all such debates, you must be antagonistic, you must criticize, you must fight, you cannot be candid. There's so much of skepticism and so much of causticism in politics. So whenever somebody tries to be natural, you immediately start suspecting his motives. You immediately start doubting. It can't be that he's a natural or a easy or spontaneous person, and that's what's happening with Rahul Gandhi's comment. Number two, Rahul Gandhi has always been, for many years now, a great youth icon in particular. Today, with the changing population profile of India, there is an instantaneous connectivity, and that is what has got the BJP panicky. Don't forget that you are having an election here where the battle lines are drawn on the one side with an 81-year-old person who has to, why does Mr. Advani have to go to Gandhinagar and do the gymnasium event? Because he believes that there is a direct connectivity with the youth which the Congress spontaneously achieves, for which he has to make an effort. Now that happens because Rahul Gandhi speaks the language of the youth, he thinks like the youth, and not Rahul Gandhi alone, youth in India in general,
however,
are far
Abhishek,
less hypocritical.
Abhishek, I should probably point out to you as well with something which,
here.
I mean, yes, but the clash right now in this election is not Rahul Gandhi versus Advani. It's, or at least it should be, that's what the Congress itself is saying, between Manmohan Singh and L.K. Advani. Prakash Javadekar, you heard what Mayawati is saying about, well, I think she was pretty much calling the prime ministerial candidates of both the Congress and the BJP, Lallu Panjus, I think is the word that she used. How do you see this, how do you see the Mayawati factor stacking up? And she's really saying too many people throwing their hat into the ring right now.
No, in democracy, everybody has a right to throw his or her hat in the ring. The real issue is she speaks of her level, she chooses her words, and everybody knows. Once she used to say, Tilak Talaju aur Talwar, जूते मारो इनको चार, अब हो गया हाथी नहीं गणेश है. So this is how she works.
Okay,
But
if there is no other option, is there, I'm asking both of you now, if the numbers throw themselves up both ways, would either of you consider the possibility? Mayawati is making it very clear, I want to be Prime Minister, why can't a Dalit's daughter be Prime Minister? Would either of you consider, if the numbers stacked up that way, consider supporting her? Or would either of you rule it out? Prakash Javadekar, would you rule out supporting Mayawati as Prime Minister?
This situation will never arise in 2009 elections. I don't see such a situation arising. The ground reality, your own surveys, not only your surveys, your own field reporters will tell you what is happening in Assam, Bihar, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh.
Okay, we're going to take a look at ground realities later. You're not saying whether you will rule it in or rule it out. You're not ruling it out.
No, we are ruling out. There is no possibility whatsoever.
Okay, Abhishek Singhvi, would you heard what Mayawati said, would you as a Congress party rule it out? There's no question of Mayawati as Prime Minister?
Ms. Mayawati is living in a dream world of her own. It's very good in a democracy. Everybody has the right to dream, to have ambitions, but you must have the figures to back it. There is no question of Ms. Mayawati coming anywhere near a figure which she is dreaming of, and therefore there's no question at all of us supporting her from outside or anything of the sort. So I would advise her only not to live in a dream world. Every time the BSP has done this, the BSP has shown that it does have occasionally in some places a spoiler's role, but is never converted. In fact, I would say the worst conversion record, the worst sort of run rate, so to say, is that of the BSP. It fights the maximum seats, it gets the least vote share and the least number of seats in proportion to that.
All right, Abhishek, as always, we don't actually have anybody from the BSP to answer that. BSP notoriously media shy, but we heard what Mayawati said, throwing her hat into the ring. Thank you both so much for joining us. I guess the final answers to all of these questions will, of course, only be known next Saturday, which is when we actually have counting. But, well, of course, interesting comments coming in there from Mayawati today. Let's move on to some of the other stories now. And Maoists took to the streets in Nepal and are clearly pulling out all stops to paint India as the villain of the piece. India has strongly denied having played any role in the recent events.